What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the One Podcast. I'm Siddons.
I'm Lane.
I'm Matt.
Lincoln. And today we're talking about this is the last episode of the series. Hold on.
Okay.
This is the last episode of the series of the Fruits of the Spirit.
Did I shout out
Actually, yes.
unnatural indoors?
No, today's shout out is Paul Renner. Y'all don't know who that is.
About Jeremy Renner.
No. So it's like a joke. So it's my college football 26 wide receiver. There's a clip of Paul Renner or Paul Rudd and Jeremy Renner. They say if you could swap with one person, so I'll swap their names.
I can't wait to be little.
Yeah, it's great.
Follow
Anyway.
our socials. We're not on SoundCloud.
Yeah, exactly. So all the socials, if you're on YouTube, it'll be on the screen. For the Spotify listeners, it's Spotify, Instagram, TikTok,
Or
YouTube,
Apple Music listeners.
Apple
We don't
Music,
discriminate.
or no, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music.
Well, Apple Music is better though, Bob.
You just switched to Spotify from Apple Music.
Yeah, but I went back.
Anyway, so yeah,
went
today's
back, though.
is about self-control. Like I said, it's the
Not
last
the song by Frank.
of the series of Fruits of the Spirit.
I
This is
am
episode
talking about the song
42.
by Frank Ocean.
It's crazy to think. Y'all ever sit back and think how long ago it's been since episode 1? And we're only on episode 42, which is crazy to say only, but it's still a lot of episodes.
Because we've missed a lot of weeks.
Still, I know. What if we just uploaded once every day for like 3 weeks and we'd be caught up? But that would be torture. That would be awful. That'd be very rough. But it's okay. But yeah, self-control. We're still in Galatians 5:22 if you want to get the last one. It actually depends on the version that... What?
I'm thinking. I forget you get free podcasts with your Apple Music subscription.
Oh, okay.
And the
But
last
yeah.
thing I listened to was
But yeah, anyway. I don't know why I'm facing this way. The camera's this way.
Oh, we are on here.
I guess. But yeah, go follow us. That's about really it, I guess.
Right here, guys. Look at it right here. This is tough.
I guess I'll bring up one thing before we get on,
You can go ahead and go.
just so I don't say it later, because I'd rather be off subject at the beginning than go into the actual subject and off subject at the end. So, one thing that I've one thing I guess I always think about stuff. I always say one thing I'm always thinking about, but that's really what it is. So, obviously, there's people around us who, it's really easy to...
I'll put my lyrics.
What? Okay, anyway. So, one thing that I think about a lot is how we show our faith.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a difference between, like, actually believing and living a faith and then just showing it. And I feel like what we often do, especially at our age, because one thing that we worry about the most right now is fitting in. Even...
Yes, especially at this age.
Exactly.
That's the time.
Really...
Halloween parties around the corner,
all the
boys.
time. But, like...
God, Jake.
Fitting in is such an odd thing to do, because one thing that I'm always told by my coach is that we're not called to be all the same. We're all called to be different, because, I mean, that's just how God intended it. We bring something new to the table.
If we were all the same, the world would be a pretty boring
Isn't this
place.
shirt good, Matt? But
Yeah.
but
Last week
we're
we were
always
like-
wanting to fit into a group. That's kind of how we get our friends, and it's, I don't know. It's so easy to sit here and say it's okay to not fit in if it's for religion. Like, I feel like to fit in is to show your religion and then abandon it once we're within the right crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I just think about a lot is how well I do when it comes to standing strong in my religion, showing it and actually, not just claiming it, showing it on the outside, but if I actually try and follow it the best. I just feel like that's something for y'all to think about, and the people watching this and listening to think about as well, is if you're actually just showing your belief or if you're genuinely trying to live it. Because it's living in a faith isn't, doing all the right things and showing it on the outside, but being able to hide being able to hide the other stuff you do, because it's like once your actions and what you do, once one person finally catches on, it's harder to maintain an image when everybody else has a different one of you. So don't think that you can hide forever under a mask that is your Christianity.
Yeah.
Don't, just don't try and be two different people at once. That's one of the things that I hate the most is when I'm talking to someone and I can just kind of tell when they're kind of just giving a show. It's just not enjoyable to be around.
Yeah.
One thing that my buddy's dad actually told me one time was real people attract real people. That's not with like relationship stuff. I guess it can be, but like the more real you are, the better you'll find people who actually are suited for you, you know? People who are actually meant to be friends.
Because, like, let's say you're like, I'm a party monster, but you're really not. And you go out and hang with people who are, you know, actual, you're not going to have fun there.
I just don't understand I don't understand the point of trying to be someone you're not, and I still try to do that all the time. But sometimes I just got to be real with myself. Like, that's not what you want to do. That's not what you like. It's okay to not want to do something.
Something that
Living according to other people.
I talked about with somebody the other day was how in this generation and stuff, the term alcoholic is like such a loose term to people.
Yeah.
And how like somebody that just drinks,
Alcoholism is genetic, by the way.
they think that they're an alcoholic, but like it's way deeper than that.
It's
and
way
so
deeper.
you try to fit in that crowd and be like, oh yeah, I'm such an alcoholic, I'm a drinker. But
Well,
like you just do it because everyone else is doing it.
I think if you go 5 years of consistent drinking, that's when you're considered an alcoholic.
But it doesn't even really.
Well, no, it's
When
when,
it be- no, no,
it's when you
not even
rely
that.
on it.
Yeah.
When you choose to do it, you're not an alcoholic.
When you rely on it. Same with that goes for anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really have to be alcohol
Anyway.
related at all either. Like, it's just how you act day to day.
Okay, we're kind of losing our.
But
I hate to-
that's
I
why
hate to
I'm
slash
saying
you
it now
off
so we can actually get on topic.
Okay, Peyton, you can go first.
Anyway, so that's just my thought for this
I
episode.
did use the Frank Ocean song. For
Just
some
be
of my
who you
notes,
are.
guys.
I mean, honestly, just be who you are. If you're a nerd, if you're a sports guy, if you're a
Celestial.
celestial. I mean, if you like plants or whatever, I don't know.
Why dissing on plans like that?
If you like cars, be a car guy. Just be who you are.
I didn't mean it like that.
I like nerds. I like when I can nerd out about stuff. I find it fun when I can sit here and talk about,
I could
different
sit here for 2
superheroes
hours and talk about Stranger Things.
or games or movies. Like, I feel like
music.
that's fun.
Music is so.
Like, since you're a cowboy, be a cowboy, dude. Anyway,
Ow.
sorry. Self-control, fruits of spirit. We're on it now.
You
Just
thought I was
think about
joking
that for a little bit.
This morning, I was in Sunday school, and actually, my Sunday school teacher wasn't here this morning, so I had to listen in on the adults class, and it just so happened he brought up a verse that I thought implied self-control, like, just fantastic. It's Proverbs 25, 28. What'd you say? It was chapter 25, 28. It says, "He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls." So you have to control yourself. You have to control your own spirit. And if you don't, what is it? I think Solomon says that you're broken down and without walls, just like a city with nothing to hold you up. I believe that having self-control is like discipline. In your walk with God, you have to have discipline. You have to know, God's not always going to tell you what is right and what's wrong. And sometimes you have to make that decision on your own. And sometimes you have to have faith, and it takes discipline to have faith because there's other things that you feel like you could have faith in. And I think faith is huge.
We said earlier, they all tie back into each other.
First Peter 1:21 says, "Who by him do believe in God that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God." I mean, faith is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest ones because you can't do anything without it. You have to have faith in God that if you're going through a trial or tribulation, you have to have faith. What about foundation? Faith is my foundation, but love is God, and God is my foundation. And foundation.
Okay. I'll kind of build off of that. Ooh, you can go. I'll go.
I was just kind of thinking while you're speaking.
I won't take that long. Mine's short, but like it's put together. You know what I'm saying? Put it on here. All right. So when I heard self-control, the first thing I thought about was the Frank Ocean song, obviously, and I decided to look into here, and I made it a goal to tie back, and I did. I found a way to relate the two in a way that actually makes sense, and it's not really weird. So when you think self-control, what do you think of? You think of how you're able to maintain yourself in stressful situations, uncomfortable situations, and when you're angry, when your emotions get the better of you, how do you handle it? And in the song, he talks about the whole song is basically he's got this girl. They get mad at each other. He snaps on her, or whatever, and then they goes this shambles. And there's a lyric in here. I'll read it out. I'll take a screenshot of it a second ago. My Face ID isn't working. He says, "And you made me lose my self-control," right? And then, like I said, talks about it. And that goes for about anything. I feel like self-control is one of a very important worldly one compared to some of these, because some of these, have like what we talked about earlier, like peace. You're not gonna be able to find that on like perfect peace on earth. But I feel like you're not gonna have perfect self-control either. But I feel like in terms of ones that are used on this world, that's one of the most important ones. Because for and that goes for, and it can be used in quite literally everything. Because you're gonna get frustrated.
Go watch a football game Friday.
Yeah,
go watch Arkansas. People legit will lose.
Yeah,
control their emotions.
And when you lose yourself, what happens? You make stupid decisions, stuff you would never do.
It hurts the people
while you're there, and it hurts other people too. And it's not only a bad look for you; it's a bad look for everything. And it can, But with Christ, I feel like it helps you strengthen that, and it's kind of like a first barrier. I don't know. It's a barrier of sorts. Like we talked about the walls earlier. It helps you build a wall, because inside the walls are your emotions and stuff. And if they break out, it's over. They're going to pillage and kill everyone nearby.
Yeah.
And I feel like as long as you can keep it in, you'll be good.
I feel like there's a good line, though, between sharing your emotions when it comes like
it's kind of like
therapy, health in a healthy way.
It's kind of like a water dam. You got to if you just hold all the water there, it's going to break. You have to let a little bit of it out, or else it's just going to break, and then it all overflows,
Exactly. And then everything floods
it floods all the stuff.
But like people around you too. It can hurt the people around you.
And everyone here can remember a time that they just completely lost themselves over something and just stuff.
Mine was over 2K a few years back, 2K21. I got really mad. But it wasn't that bad. I just called everybody else trash because everybody else didn't play. It was just me. I was a nerd.
I feel like I only really get super mad when I'm like working on something and everyone is trying to tell me different things to add on to it, and I just get like stressed out over crap.
Lego sets.
I don't know.
Lego sets. That's all I gotta say, man.
The first thing, I just cut you off. That's my bad. Anyway, keep talking. But the first thing actually, when Sidens was talking, that came to mind was actually gluttony, which is kind of absurd. But self-control, right?
Yes.
Gluttony, in my eyes, correct me if I'm wrong, where you just want more. It's more. It's you're overloading yourself with stuff that you don't necessarily need. And we relate that with food.
It's once.
I'm one to talk about that, but
it's once. It's like, I want more of this. I want all of this. You want more than you could ever need.
It's like greed, basically. But you stack on more and more even when you don't need it. I feel like for some reason, that's just the first thing that came to mind, because you have to have a self-control to know when to stop. Because one thing that everybody wants is more.
Hence the dam I talked about earlier.
All the time. We always want more of everything we got. We want what's obviously saw in news and the people around you in towns everywhere. Mm-hmm. Literally everywhere you go. What does everybody want more of? Money, power, fame, every single riches. Time. Even I'm not even trying to get political. That's just true. It's legit what runs the world: money and power.
That's how.
That's gluttony.
That's how. Oh my goodness. I just went brain dead. Oh my goodness. That's fine. Give me a second.
When it comes to self-control, I feel like that kind of goes really good with that.
That's how capitalism works. My goodness, that took too long to find.
Capitalism?
Yes.
I'm familiar with
it's money driven. It's money driven.
Is how our country works.
Okay. Yes, it's money driven. Okay. You want things, so you do stuff to get money, and then do stuff you do contributes.
I don't know. I don't know why, but gluttony is just one of the first things that I thought of. Wanting more, not having control over your own self. kind of goes hand to hand. If y'all get what I'm,
If you lose your
you're picking up what I'm
self-control,
laying down.
another thing is that you have to. You can't just pick and choose which ones of the fruits you want. If you lose your self-control, you can lose a bunch of other stuff. You lose your faith, you lose everything. You lose
I
your
feel like-
peace, you lose everything.
I feel like if you lose any one of the
Yeah,
fruits,
it's like a snowball. It snowballs.
I feel like peace is one of the
think
ones
if
you
you
lose.
lose-
And
no
you
matter-
can't just pick.
I
You
think if
can't
you
have
lose one,
peace
you
and
lose
not
them all.
faith. You can't have
That
peace
is
and not
true.
faith. You can't have peace and not self-control. You can't have self-control and you can't have peace. You have to have all of them in order to
Yeah,
make it work.
I don't know. But anyway, what were you gonna say?
Me, when I think of self-control, I think more of sin and controlling yourself from not committing sin, because that's kind of the main thing that we do as Christians, or that we should do, is look at ourselves, see our sin, and look for the change. If you want to make the world a better place, you gotta look at yourself and make the change.
But don't.
Michael Jackson. But
That's why it should be in the world, not
yeah,
We should have thought that first. I didn't even think about that part.
what.
but sin, yeah, sin is one of the
You're right.
biggest things that the Bible even talks about.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is to have control over your own body and your own thoughts, to not allow the sin to creep in. But that can be really hard. I mean, I have verses here. Think of Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, and who is this figure that we so often look up to in the Bible as a really great man who did a lot of great things. But in Romans 7:15-20, he highlights his own struggle with sin and like the internal battle that we have to find self-control. And so in verse 15, it says, "For I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. Now if I do what I do not want, I agree with the law that it is good. So now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good that I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. Now if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me." So I mean here, sin is just a thing that eats us alive over and over. The second that we do it, we feel so awful and horrible about ourselves. And so that's why it's important to have self-control over it, because one, once you have self-control, you don't commit sin as much. You're never not going to commit sin, is the thing.
No, that's impossible.
But you're not going to do it as much once you have self-control to beat temptation and get away from it. But second, you're also making yourself feel better because, like I said, you have that guilt after you sin. You feel guilty for doing it. But once you have self-control, that feeling sort of goes away. And you also can be able to recognize that, yes, I sinned, but Christ died for me. And his love and his mercy covers that. But at the same time, don't be one of those people that's like, well, Jesus died so I can sin however I want. But you get what I'm saying, if you get what I'm saying.
And I hate the quote, "Everyone sins different." That's also the stupidest thing
If
I've
you
ever
notice,
heard in
though,
my life.
it said, I think at the end of, how many verses is that?
5.
I think at the end of like the second or third one, it says, "In my flesh," right?
Yeah, for I know that nothing good dwells within me, that is, in my flesh.
Exactly. So like, my interpretation, how I'm thinking about that right now, is like the worldly sins we are born into, you know, because we're obviously not born perfect at all. Sin's born within us. Doesn't youth pastor often refers like sins of the flesh, you know?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of just what we're coded to do. It's like a computer almost. But the good thing is, like you said, the self-control part, I'm basically just re-saying what you just said. But if you find control over that, obviously, over your flesh, over the worldly desires that's talked about in we're in Galatians 5:22, legit in Galatians 20 or 21, it talks about all the worldly, the flesh, the sins that the flesh craves. That's legit what it is. And if you keep following into that, here, I'll just look. Because there's like,
It's
12 to 14
Here,
of them?
I have it. So, verse 19 in Galatians 5. For the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like those. I warn you, as I warn those I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God.
Exactly. Boom. Boom. It's everything that we've tried to preach. I'm not even speaking into my mic. Everything that we try, it says acts of the flesh. It's legit what you just said. All the things that we've tried to preach throughout this entire, I guess, series, the past 7, right? No, 9. It's 9, right? The past 9 episodes, all the things that we've tried to convince you of, I guess to sum it all up, is to where you stop craving your fleshful sinful ways. Stop using, like I said at the very beginning, stop using your faith, your mask of, you're using religion as a mask to not hoping that people around you don't see the sinful nature that you have. That's not how it works. You have to legit, if you are going to surrender to Christ, surrender to a new body, to a community, not saved from hell. You're not saved from hell. You're saved to Christ.
And while we're on the topic of that thing, so doing like, I guess, because I know you provided an example of the other day. If you are a horrible person, don't you just you know Christ is real. You don't believe him at all though, and when you do horrific things, when you do heinous things over the weekend that definitely do not reflect your religious faith, it's not our heart. It's not our part to judge them, and I'm not judging them. I hold them accountable for that, and saying that doing things that give you an image will not save you.
Don't cross that line though. Not right now.
Actions speak louder than words.
It does. It does. And you want to know the great thing about it? No matter what you do, everybody sees what you do, who you are. You can't hide from the people that know who you are. I mean, I could care less how much you show up to church or, like you said, FCA, or you show up to all these Christian events, could care less if it means that you have nothing changed within you.
Exactly.
Stop living for the flesh. Stop getting mad at the people. I have been told within the past week or two that they don't like hearing when I bring up God. And I'm not even perfect. This is me, I guess, perfect. In a way, trying to convince myself to learn the ways that I'm preaching to y'all. So we're all trying to get better. I've been told that people don't like hearing me even speak about it anymore. And then I'll see that same person go to church or post this or say this or go to this meeting, and I'll see that. But they're not wanting to hear what I have to say.
They run from conviction. That's what they do. They know that if you talk about God, they feel bad about themselves. They do not want to feel bad about themselves. They do not want to face conviction in the face of that.
The hardest things that you can do, that I can do.
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry. But the hardest thing that you can do is look at a mirror, look at yourself, and actually be real and say, I like what he's doing. I'm going to keep doing that. No, when somebody holds up a mirror, when God, the Bible, when you hear someone that shows you who you are, gives you the accountability, the conviction you're needing, when you hold up that mirror and you say, I don't like that person, you want them to go away because now they're bad, because you don't want to listen to it. What has to change is you look at that and it's like, I don't like this part, I don't like what I see here, but I'm not going to run back to my sinful flesh and nature that gives me comfort for a little bit. I'm going to change what's in the mirror, and I'm going to try to become new.
And a lot of people don't. And when you talk about God like that, it's kind of like putting the mirror in their face, and they don't want to quit the stuff they're doing. They don't want to quit these weekend parties. They don't want to quit the stuff they do because they just don't want to. And for some reason, they reject faith because they think if they go to faith, they can't do that, which is, that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, Matthew, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Literally the whole point.
I was going to say a little bit about that, and then we can wrap up the whole fruit of the Spirit thing. I reposted a thing a couple weeks ago that said, someone that calls you out on your sin loves you more than this person that joins you in it.
Yes.
Exactly. I think I saw that. Exactly.
Yeah, so we all saw that.
That's how it works. And honestly, and I've said this before, when we post this on Friday, we're going to have this. This is on record. We're not holding anything back right now. The only thing we're holding back is the names. But here's the thing. If we say this and you think it's directed, guess what? It probably is.
And
this is not judging. We aren't even perfect. We are far from it.
We are just as sinful as you are.
If you feel called out by the Bible, it's doing its job, because Jesus said he didn't come to bring peace, but he came to bring a sword.
Exactly. It's aggressive. It is. It's an aggressive approach.
And it needs
But
to
when
be.
you feel like it's targeted toward you, and we don't even have to say a name, you might want to take a look in that mirror. Open, and it's not easy to just run away from sin either.
No.
Well, we can talk about that some other time. That's a whole other door. But I guess the whole point of this Fruits of the Spirit, the past 9 episodes, has been stop agreeing with the ways of the world. Stop agreeing with your flesh.
The Spirit.
It leads to death and destruction. It leads to nothing. And that's coming from me too, who needs to do the same thing. I'm not perfect at all. None of us are all.
Here's what the heading of the thing says: keep in step with the Spirit. That's the whole point of what we've been trying to tell you.
It's baby steps.
You have to. I'll just read Galatians 5:22 and 23 one last time before we.
Yeah, and then we can go.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. These are the things that you need to do as a Christian in this world to be a representative of Christ and to be an example of the Spirit. And this, just remember that. This is what Jesus did. You are called to be like Jesus, so do these things.
I heard you say little steps. It made me think of something that a coach told me a long time ago.
Yeah.
He said you have to get the little things right. And that is completely right. If you don't get the little things right, you'll never get to the big boy steps. You'll never get there.
Kind of like a foundation, you could say.
You know, it kind of is, because you got to have a foundation or you can't have anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway,
Yeah, dude, got to go.
I guess to wrap up the episode finally is
Follow our socials. We're not on SoundCloud.
follow our socials, obviously. We're not on SoundCloud. Apply God to your life.
Yep.
We're not perfect. We're
Have
just trying
faith.
to spread, have faith, have peace, all that. Thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all have tuned in for the past 9 episodes, y'all seen the whole series. I appreciate that. We all appreciate that.
Shout out to
again,
Rigby.
Go find us right here. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for the support. Sorry we're not very efficient with filming, but that's okay. We're kids. We have stuff to do. But yeah, thank y'all. And then Siddons, wrap us up. What we got?
All right, with all this being said, our love of Jesus Christ be with you. His love be with you all in Christ Jesus. Amen.